Now then, how are you doing? A friend of mine once said Elvis was nothing without Leiber and Stoller. So I thought I'd talk about that. Was Elvis nothing without Leiber and Stoller? Well, there was an album released about 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago now, called Elvis Sings Leiber and Stoller, and there are over 20 songs on that album that Leiber and Stoller composed, which Elvis recorded, and it's a pretty impressive collection of songs. However, there are only 3 number ones on there. There was Hound Dog, number 1 in America, not in the UK. Don't, number 1 in America, again, not in the UK. And also Jailhouse Rock. However, Elvis had about 20 number ones in America and almost as many in the UK. And his first number one was his first hit on RCA, which was Heartbreak Hotel, not written by Leiber and Stoller. And Hound Dog itself, on the B side, well, on the other side of Hound Dog, was Don't Be Cruel. And Don't Be Cruel itself got to number 1. And that was written, of course, by Otis Blackwell. And after that, really, there were no more Leiber and Stoller number 1 hits. So basically, Leiber and Stoller were a major part of Elvis's life for just a couple of years, 1956 and 1957. Now, in an interview, Frank Zappa also referred to Leiber and Stoller, saying that Elvis wouldn't have made it without Leiber and Stoller, and he also added the black artists who recorded the songs, which Elvis later recorded and made famous. So Frank Zappa is making a more general argument that Elvis would not have made it without songwriters. But this argument, to me, is meaningless. It's like saying Elvis would not have made it without songs. But there have always been songs. There always will be songs. We don't blame a teacher for not writing the textbook. We don't say, Tom Cruise is nothing without the director of his movies. We don't say Steven Spielberg, yeah, he's alright, but, he's nothing without the screenwriter. Nobody cares who the screenwriter is. When somebody asks you, do you want to go and see a movie, you don't say, I don't know, who wrote the screenplay? You're more likely to say, what's it about? Because the story is the most important thing. Who cares who wrote the screenplay? Who cares who wrote the song? Suspicious Minds is Elvis's most popular song, but how many people know who wrote that song? Elvis fans, like myself, many of us will know that that was written by a guy called Mark James, but most people, they don't know who Mark James is. And Frank Zappa also made the point in the same interview that Elvis made it because he was good looking. So I guess the idea here is you give a good looking guy a song and hey presto, you have success. But imagine if Elvis had sung like Bob Dylan when he recorded his first hit. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down at the end of a lonely street at a Heartbreak Hotel. Are you telling me that would have got to number 1? Not on your Nelly. Anyway, I'll leave the final words of this rant to my mum. Or was it my dad? Who always used to say, Elvis could have sung the Telephone Directory and it would have got to number 1. So, what do you think? Am I right? Is it the singer? Is it the song?